Alright guys, in today's brief video, we're going to take a moment and try and figure out which of the 7 stages of quitting smoking weed you are currently at. And if you wind up listening to the whole video, I would love for you to take some time and comment below which stage you're at and what exactly it is that you're experiencing, because that will help other people on our channel and within our community relate to the content here. Now today's video is based off of the Stages of Change model, which is a very well-known, very evidence-based model when it comes to psychology, okay? If you're new to the channel and you wind up liking today's video, be sure to check out the pinned comment or the video description to learn more about our free and paid program resources. Here we help people quit nicotine, THC, energy drinks, and adult media content, substances that I once used to struggle with. Okay. Stage number 1. This is the pre-contemplation stage. So this is the stage where the person really has no concept that their cannabis consumption is a problem, and quitting isn't even a figment of their imagination. Now, very few people watching this channel are going to be at that stage, because chances are you searched how to quit smoking weed, quitting weed, something about quitting weed. The only people you're going to see on my channel that are at that stage are the people who are leaving the hate comments. They're the people who pop up and they're like, screw you, man, weed has 0 addictive properties, F you, you're not this, you're not that. Those people are probably at the pre-contemplation stage. Maybe, not in all, but maybe in some instances there's a little bit of a denial in that stage too. Stage number 2, contemplation. This is where the person recognizes that they have a problem and they've realized that their smoking cannabis is an issue, but they haven't yet taken any action or any directive when it comes to actually making the change to stopping their cannabis consumption. So contemplation, stage number 2, you recognize that the cannabis consumption is a problem, but you're not yet ready or even really thinking about taking action to make a change. You're just, it's a problem and it is what it is right now for you. That is the contemplation stage, stage number 2. Now, in my opinion, that's one of the worst stages to be in, and I actually think in life a lot of people are stuck in that stage. In addiction, a lot of people are stuck in that stage, because this is like it's the most painful experience, because once you kind of recognize something as a problem and you don't do something about it, it's just like this painful anticipation of knowing that eventually you might need to do something. And if you can think of anything, like the anticipation leading up to an exam, the anticipation leading up to a job interview, the anticipation leading up to the birth of a child, which can be nerve-wracking. It's often that anticipation that is actually harder to deal with than taking action itself. Because once we take action, it's like, oh, that wasn't that bad. That exam wasn't that bad because I studied. Going through the, birthing process with my wife or significant other wasn't actually that bad. It was a beautiful experience. Going into that job interview, it wasn't as intense as I thought it was going to be, or facing that problem didn't turn out to be as big of a problem as I thought it was. People will spend their whole lives in stage number 2, contemplation, just realizing they need to make a change but never taking action on it, and that sucks. And the reality is, this is where a lot of the world is at when it comes to a lot of things. And just by moving out of that contemplation stage, you can give yourself a major advantage over other individuals in the world, and like a huge competitive edge. Stage number 3, preparation. This is where the person now recognizes it's a problem and they actually have an intention of taking action. So I recognize smoking weed is a problem and I intend to quit Monday morning. I intend to quit Sunday night. This is where the person is maybe putting a date and a time to the point at which they intend on taking action. This is the preparation stage. Maybe you're getting ready. You're like, okay, I'm not going to drive past the dispensary next week on my way home from work. I'm going to tell my friends and family that I'm going to quit next week. Preparation, stage number 3. Stage number 4, most important stage, is the action stage. This is where the person is actually making, they've either stopped smoking weed, they've cut back the frequency they're smoking weed, they've cut down on the amount that they're smoking weed. And it might surprise you if you're listening to this video and you're still smoking. You might be in the action stage. You might be taking actionable steps towards successfully stopping smoking weed or consuming cannabis, whatever it is you're doing. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. So even if you've taken baby steps, that's still really, really good. You're still way ahead of a lot of other people out there who are stuck at stage number 2 or stage number 3, contemplation or preparation. So kudos to you if you're watching this video and you're taking action. Just the fact that you're watching this video means you're at the very least on stage 2 or stage 3, contemplation or preparation. The action stage is funny because a lot of people won't even consider taking action because they're so fearful of action. Like they're so fearful of making that change and the potential withdrawal symptoms and what's life going to be like without cannabis. And it's amazing because that fear, a false expectation appearing real, one of my favorite quotes regarding fear, is what then keeps them stuck in the contemplation stage, which is arguably a significantly harder place to remain in than the action stage. So really interesting. Stage number 4, action. Stage number 5 is maintenance. This is where the person has successfully quit using the substance, in this case cannabis, and they're just maintaining this path of sobriety and recovery. I would argue the person has become recovered, and now it's just not returning to drug use, okay? Typically, the maintenance stage occurs somewhere between 6 months and a year, but you know what? If you've made the decision to quit smoking weed and you're at day 2, and you know you are going to remain firm in that commitment that you made to yourself, and you have now taken action, I would argue you could be in the maintenance stage within an hour after deciding to stop smoking weed. It all depends on the person's mindset and how much they flutter going back and forth with that mindset. If you're firm in your decision, you could skip contemplation, preparation, you could go right to action and then immediately into maintenance. You could hit both of those at the same time. So don't think you have to put a time limit on that. Now, the last stage is termination. This is where I have been at, and this is where you've quit smoking, you have absolutely no desire to smoke again, and it's really not even a thought. There's not cravings, there's not a sad situation that smoking can make happy, there's not a happy situation that smoking could enhance or consuming weed could enhance. It's just not a thing anymore. And it's funny because on my channel, I think a lot of people watch this, and I remember being in that individual's shoes at one point in my quitting journey, and they're like, well, why wouldn't you just want to smoke on the weekends? Why don't you just moderate? It's hard for people to wrap their heads around, especially if they're so caught up in the consumption of a drug, that a lot of people get to a point where they just have zero interest in consumption of that substance. And that's where I'm at. There's no situation that weed is going to enhance. There's no sad time in my life that weed is going to give me reprieve from. There is no value that cannabis consumption is going to add to my life at this point, and I have no interest in it. Termination stage would be like this. It's like if I were to offer you a Diet Pepsi and you absolutely despise the taste of Diet Pepsi. So why would you even care to have it? You wouldn't. That's the termination stage, okay? Now, stage number 7, which I think is very controversial, and I don't even like including this, is relapse. This is where the person has stopped. They were presumably in the maintenance stage, and now they've relapsed and they've gone back to substance use. My take on relapse, and I've made many, many videos about relapse and relapse prevention in the past, is a little controversial. I think someone can be in a maintenance stage or a termination stage, and they could say, look, I want to moderately go back to consuming cannabis. If they choose to do that and their consumption doesn't have a negative impact on their life, it shows no signs or symptoms of addiction and the consequences that they once faced in addiction, I don't consider that a relapse. I consider that a conscious choice that the individual made in hopes of enhancing their quality of life because they saw value to smoking again. That's up to them. I don't consider that a relapse. I don't even consider that a lapse. A lapse being a temporary miscalculation of judgment. You briefly return to use, decide to stop again because it wasn't for you. That's a lapse. A relapse is returning to use, experiencing all the symptoms of addiction again, all the side effects of addiction again, and winding up right down that rabbit hole that you once tried to escape. That's what I would consider relapse, and it doesn't have to be part of your journey, but for the sake of today's video, we'll call that stage number 7. Now, no matter where you're at, but especially for those of you that are at contemplation, pre-preparation, you haven't yet taken action, you got some choices to make right now at the end of this video, okay? Option number 1, check out the pinned comment in the video description and download our free 90-page ebook on how to quit smoking weed, how to quit using nicotine, how to overcome addiction. It's free. Option number 2, going to cost you a little bit more money. Consider booking a one-on-one addiction recovery coaching call. I have the Q&A session offer, and then I have the one-on-one coaching call offer. Read the descriptions very carefully and decide which one's better for you. If you want privacy, if you want no fluff, no BS, it's a 2-hour phone call, and we're just going to hash this out right then and there. Option 3, the group coaching call. It's $27 a month. You can join the Addiction Mindset Group Coaching School community. You can cancel your membership anytime, and you can get support from myself and a community of people who are all like-minded and that we want to turn addiction into ambition. So that's an option for you. Option number 4, check out our supplements. We make a chewing gum, Kick It, Crave Less chewing gum. It's nicotine-free, stimulant-free, cannabis-free. It contains KSM-66 ashwagandha to help improve your stress tolerance, and something called NAC, N-acetylcysteine, to help reduce cravings and to help reduce some of those withdrawal symptoms. Incredible product. I use it myself daily. I would hope I would. I'm the guy who invented it. We're the only people in the world who make this product. Kick It, Crave Less chewing gum. If you just need a little boost, it's a gum with a kick to help you quit. Last option, don't do nothing. Follow me right into the next video where I teach you a little bit more about quitting smoking weed. In fact, the video I'll link to this is our full course on quitting smoking weed, okay? And hey, you could, if you're watching this right now and it's September before October 1st, 2024, you could kill 3 birds in 1 stone. You could join our group coaching community, okay? You'll get a free bottle of Kick It, Crave Less gum if you join before October 1st in celebration of our upcoming Sober October event and in celebration of our official first year in business with our supplement company. Okay, so you'll get that in the group coaching, and you'll get free enrollment into our Sober October program for October of 2024 just by joining that group community for 27 bucks. Now, if you really want to do a banger and you really need help, you could do a one-on-one call, roll into the group community, get the supplement for free, and do Sober October, and I think that would be more than anything you need to quit. So you got some options, but really take action, okay? You have an opportunity right now to jump from contemplation and preparation into that action stage. And I just gave you literally 5 different ways you could do that. Until next time.